The Panama Canal is currently experiencing a drought because there has been less rain than usual, causing water levels to drop in the reservoirs and lakes that supply the canal with water. This has made it difficult for ships to pass through safely, as the canal needs a certain depth to operate properly. As a result of the drought, there have been delays and disruptions in global trade due to restrictions on the size and number of vessels that can transit the canal. Did you know that the canal uses a lock system to lift ships 85 feet to the elevation of the canal? How about the fact that it takes 8 to 10 hours for each ship to make the transit through the canal? The Panama Canal, owned and operated by the Republic of Panama, is a lock-type canal connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans via the narrow Isthmus of Panama, stretching about 40 miles across from one shore to the other and around 50 miles from deep water in the Atlantic Caribbean Sea to deep water in the Pacific. It was completed in August 1914. The canal is recognized as a crucial link between the two oceans and is among the most significant man-made waterways worldwide, on par with the Suez Canal. Now, why is the Panama Canal important? It is important because it forms the connection between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, allowing ships to avoid the dangerous journey around Cape Horn in South America. This shortcut helps reduce carbon emissions and minimize the environmental effects of international shipping. It is the shortcut that saves a lot of time, energy, and money. One key strategic importance: it is crucial for the United States to ensure that the Panama Canal operates securely, effectively, and dependably. The canal's value goes far beyond just economic advantages, including national security, defense readiness, diplomatic ties, and logistical strength. Two new and short transit routes, the canal makes trade and transportation between ports on the east and west coasts of the Americas more efficient, as it shortens the distance between ports on the east and west coasts of the Americas. Approximately 72% of ships passing through are heading to or from U.S. ports. One of the advantages of using the Panama Canal is the substantial time and cost savings it offers to ships. The shorter transit time not only reduces fuel costs but also allows for quicker delivery of goods. This is especially beneficial for time-sensitive cargoes, perishable items, and industries that rely on just-in-time supply chains. It contributes to the global supply chain, as the canal is essential for global supply chains, transporting a wide range of goods such as dry bulk, chemical tankers, LPG carriers, LNG, vehicle carriers, refrigerated cargo, general cargo, and passengers. The Panama Canal is a well-known landmark, but many do not know how it works and what is the purpose for it. Many imagine the canal as simply a large strip of land cut out, with a small strip of ocean running through Panama. In reality, the canal operates more like a groove or artificial river that spans across the land, allowing ships to pass over the surface to reach the other side. Ships reach an elevation of 85 feet 26 meters above sea level at the highest point of the canal. The Panama Canal lock system is designed to help ships move up and down like a staircase, maintaining their level at all times. It consists of 3 upward, 3 downward steps. Constructed in 1914, this system was considered a remarkable engineering feat at the time. Let us learn how the Panama Canal operates. The Panama Canal connects 2 different oceans that are not at the same level. The Pacific Ocean sits slightly higher than the Atlantic Ocean. This means that ships must navigate through the terrain of Panama, reaching heights of up to 26 meters above sea level to traverse from one end of the canal to the other. Lock gates assist in raising the ships to a higher level and then lower them back to sea level at the opposite end of the canal. The Panama water lock system is often regarded as a remarkable engineering feat, meeting the demands of ships and reducing transit time. It comprises 3 sets of locks, totaling 12 locks, facilitating the passage of vessels between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans through man-made lakes and channels. Before the canal expansion finished in 2016, there were 2 lines with 2 sets of locks at each end of the canal. The expansion added a 3rd lane and another set of locks to accommodate larger vessels. These locks, situated on both the Atlantic and Pacific sides, raise and lower the vessels to and from the Panama Canal, which sits 26 meters above sea level. The gates at the Panama Canal locks are designed to separate the chambers and can hold thousands of liters of water. They can be filled or emptied in less than 10 minutes, and it takes 2 minutes to open each pair of lock gates. The size of the gates ranges from 14.33 to 24.99 meters, with a thickness of 2.13 meters. Each gate has 2 leaves that are 19.81 meters wide and are shaped like a V with the point facing upstream to handle the force of the water. The gates only open when the water levels are equal on both sides, and there is a fender chain weighing around 30,000 pounds at the end of each lock to prevent ships from hitting the gates before they open. To allow ships to navigate through the lock, each chamber is to be filled with 26,700,000 US gallons of water. The locks rely on the natural flow of water from lakes like Gatun, Alajuela, and Miraflores to operate. Additionally, The lock system features 18-foot wide water culverts that transport water from the lakes to the chambers to raise the ships, and from the chambers to the next lock or the sea to lower the ships. The lock system is operated electrically from a control room located on the center wall of the upper flight of locks. Electric towing locomotives in the control rooms guide ships through the lock chambers. Ships are pulled by machines called mules using a cable through the locks. Typically, 6 mules are needed for ships to enter or exit the canal, with 3 on each side. The whole operation of the Panama water lock system can be described in short. 1. The vessel approaches the lower chamber of the canal locks. 2. The valve of the first chamber opens and water flows by force of gravity from the higher chamber to the lowest one, bringing the water level to the sea level. 3. The locked gate opens to allow the ship into the chamber, and the gate closes behind it. 4. The valve of the next chamber is open to increase the water level to that of the first chamber. 5. The gate of the lock is opened, and the ship enters the next chamber. 6. The water level is equalized again, and the ship finally exits the lock and enters the 77 kilometers long canal. At the other end of the canal, a similar process will be performed to lower the vessel to sea level. Now, the same Panama Canal is currently suffering a prolonged drought that began in early 2023 and has not let up. In October, rainfall was 43% lower than average levels, making it the driest October since the 1950s. The severe drought in Panama is getting worse due to a strong El Niño and record-breaking global warming. In 2023, temperatures exceeded the pre-industrial average by 1.35 degrees Celsius. If you don't know what El Niño is, it is a natural climate pattern that brings warmer air and ocean waters to the west coast of the Americas. This warming can range in intensity and last for 9 to 12 months. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration (NOAA) predicts that El Niño will persist until at least April 2024. Research indicates that the severity of El Niño fluctuations is connected to climate change. Climate models suggest that the swings between El Niño and La Niña are becoming more extreme, leading to the increased frequency and intensity of events observed in recent decades. If emissions continue unchecked, El Niño events could potentially become 15 to 20% stronger in the future. El Niño events have significant impacts on weather patterns around the world, affecting everything from rainfall patterns to temperatures and even global economies. During an El Niño event, the trade winds weaken or reverse, leading to the accumulation of warm surface waters along the coast of South America. This unusual warming of ocean waters changes atmospheric circulation patterns and disrupts typical weather conditions. Global weather patterns. El Niño's impact stretches well beyond the tropical Pacific area, altering weather patterns worldwide. In certain regions, like the western coast of South America, El Niño results in substantial rainfall, causing floods and landslides. Conversely, other areas face drought conditions, such as portions of Southeast Asia, Australia, and Africa. These shifts in rainfall patterns can greatly affect agriculture, water supplies, and ecosystems. Temperature anomalies during El Niño events. A common occurrence is higher temperatures in various regions around the globe. This can result in heat waves, especially in areas that are already known for hot weather, increasing the risks associated with heat-related health issues and putting pressure on cooling energy supplies. El Niño can affect the development and strength of hurricanes and tropical cyclones. It usually reduces the number of hurricanes in the Atlantic but increases cyclone activity in the Pacific Ocean. This can impact coastal areas, affecting infrastructure, agriculture, and human safety. The occurrence of El Niño events can have a significant impact on fisheries by causing disruptions in marine ecosystems, which in turn affect marine life. Fluctuations in ocean temperatures and currents resulting from these events can lead to changes in the distribution and abundance of fish stocks. This can ultimately lead to shifts in fishing patterns and have a direct impact on the livelihoods of those dependent on marine resources. The economic impact of El Niño is extensive and can result in major consequences. Crop failures from droughts or floods can cause food shortages and price increases, affecting both local and global markets. Moreover, severe weather events can disrupt transportation and infrastructure, leading to supply chain interruptions and trade disturbances that impact industries and economies worldwide. In general, El Niño is a complicated event that has a wide range of effects on weather, ecosystems, and communities. It is important to properly understand and keep track of El Niño occurrences to prepare for and lessen their impacts, ultimately developing resilience and adjusting to the difficulties brought on by this natural occurrence. The drop in Panama Canal traffic due to the severe drought could cost up to $700 million. Due to decreasing water levels, the Panama Canal authorities have implemented restrictions on ship passages. Currently, only 24 transits are allowed per day until April 2024, when a reassessment will be conducted at the beginning of the rainy season. As of the end of 2023, the number of ship passages had decreased by 30% compared to normal. The unpredictability of navigation through Panama has led some ships to seek alternative routes. Decreased water levels make it harder for big ships to go through the canal because they sit lower in the water and are more likely to get stuck in shallow areas. Bigger ships also need more water from the lake to be raised in the locks. With the increase in global shipping, there are now more large ships that can carry a lot of goods, but are difficult to steer through narrow water passages, such as the Panama Canal. What is the impact of the Panama drought? Jose Cervantes from the shipping company Agunsa explained that the shortcut connecting the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans is the most convenient route. He stressed the importance of having alternatives in case the route is blocked, as any delays would result in increased time and expenses that ultimately impact the consumer. Christian Good, a farmer from Macon, Mississippi, highlighted the significance of the canals in enabling inexpensive and fast navigation. He emphasized the value of quick delivery times facilitated by the canals. However, he also pointed out that without these canals, shipments would experience delays, ultimately leading to longer transit times. Unlike the Suez Canal, which relies solely on seawater, the Panama Canal utilizes fresh water from Lake Gatun to fill its locks and facilitate ship transits. Lake Gatun is indeed a critical component of the Panama Canal's operation, serving as a primary water source for maintaining the canal's required depth. However, the lake's water level has been fluctuating due to various factors, including rainfall patterns, evaporation rates, and human activities. In 2024, the water levels in March and April at Gatun Lake are expected to drop to 80 feet and 79 feet, respectively, which is lower than the beginning of the year. Due to these unusually low levels, the ACP has been forced to decrease the daily traffic in the canal from 36 to 24 vessels and impose restrictions on the maximum draft size of ships. According to Jose Cervantes, the general manager of Agunsa's Panama branch, their daily activities have been severely affected. Deliveries of 2 million tons of various goods ranging from textiles to food have experienced delays due to issues at the Panama Canal. Cervantes points out that the main issue is the absence of alternative efficient routes. Some ships carrying cargo from Asia were rerouted through the Suez Canal before the current Red Sea crisis. With that option less secure, there's been an increase in demand for rail and road transport across Panama. Shipping companies are facing challenges in the Red Sea due to attacks on ships, and now another vital trade route is being affected. According to Panama Canal Administrator Ricardo Vasquez, decreasing water levels may result in losses of $700 million in 2024, higher than the earlier estimated $200 million. However, according to Jose Cervantes, the constant movement of cargo between ships, trains, and trucks is causing expenses to rise. He believes that these increased costs are ultimately transferred to consumers. The canal is anticipating an increase in ship traffic if the expected rains come in May, although this is only a temporary fix. The shifting weather patterns are a stark reminder of the potential effects that climate change could have on international commerce and the future viability of the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal is responsible for 5% of global shipping, meaning that any issues here can have a ripple effect on the entire supply chain across the world. This can lead to delays in deliveries, increased fuel consumption, and economic losses in terms of GDP. The efficient operation of the Panama Canal is crucial for ensuring the timely movement of goods between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Any interruptions, such as drought-related issues or maintenance work, can result in delays in vessel transits. These delays can have a ripple effect on the supply chain, affecting delivery schedules of goods and raw materials. This can lead to delays in receiving essential products for manufacturers, retailers, and consumers, causing inventory shortages and higher costs. More fuel is used when there are disruptions in the Panama Canal. Ships may need to take a longer route around the Cape Horn in South America. This leads to higher costs for shipping companies as they must use more fuel. The increased fuel usage also adds to the problem of greenhouse gas emissions, making environmental issues worse. One of the key factors in supporting international trade and economic growth is the efficient operation of the Panama Canal. Any interruptions that cause delays in shipping and higher transportation expenses can result in significant economic losses. These losses can affect not only the countries directly impacted by the disruptions, but also those that depend on the timely delivery of goods through the canal for their own production and export operations. The overall effect on the global GDP can be considerable, especially if disruptions continue or happen during times of increased economic activity. Furthermore, any disturbances in the Panama Canal can lead to geopolitical consequences beyond the immediate impacts. The canal's critical role as a vital maritime passage could draw global attention and possibly impact international relations and trade dynamics among countries. Not only that, Disruptions in the Panama Canal have the capacity to interfere with the intricate web of global trade, impacting businesses, consumers, and economies worldwide. It is crucial to take steps to address these disruptions by investing in canal infrastructure and implementing strategies to improve resilience. This is necessary to ensure the uninterrupted flow of goods and to minimize the economic repercussions of such events. Before diving deep into it, let us go back to how and why the Panama Canal was constructed. The creation of the Panama Canal dates way back and is one of the most remarkable engineering achievements in modern history, revolutionizing global trade and navigation. Its history is a tale of ambition, innovation, and perseverance. During ancient times, many civilizations had a vision of a waterway linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Spanish explorers in the Age of Exploration ventured into Panama to find a possible passage. But it was only in the 19th century that real attempts to construct a canal commenced. In the 1880s, the French, under the guidance of engineer Ferdinand de Lesseps, set out to build the Panama Canal following their triumph with the Suez Canal. Despite their ambitious efforts, they encountered numerous hurdles, including widespread tropical diseases like malaria and yellow fever, and engineering difficulties posed by the rugged landscape of the isthmus. Unfortunately, the project failed, leading to the financial ruin of the French company and the loss of countless lives. During the era of the French failure, there was a strong interest in constructing a canal in Panama, particularly in the United States. Initially, the U.S. thought about building the canal in Nicaragua, but later obtained permission to use the Panama route from Colombia after assisting Panama in gaining independence in 1903. In 1904, President Theodore Roosevelt led the United States in beginning the construction of the canal. This massive project involved employing a large number of workers from various countries. Engineers encountered major obstacles such as digging through the Culebra Cut, a rugged mountainous area, and building a series of locks to raise ships over the Continental Divide. During the construction of the canal, one of the biggest challenges faced was dealing with tropical diseases such as malaria and yellow fever, which were spread by mosquitoes breeding in the stagnant water of the canal. Dr. William Gorgas played a crucial role in fighting these diseases by implementing strict sanitation measures like draining swamps, fumigating buildings, and controlling mosquito populations. Thanks to his efforts, the incidence of disease decreased significantly, making the construction site safer for the workers. The Panama Canal was officially opened on August 15, 1914, but the big ceremony was toned down because of World War I. The project cost over $350 million, making it the most expensive construction in U.S. history at the time. Around $3.4 million cubic meters of concrete were used for the locks, and about 240 million cubic yards of rock and dirt were dug out during the American phase of construction. Unfortunately, many people lost their lives building the canal. Out of the 56,000 workers from 1904 to 1913, approximately 5,600 were reported dead. The actual death toll is likely higher since only deaths in hospitals were recorded by the French. The construction of the Panama Canal was a costly endeavor for the United States, totaling approximately $375 million. This amount encompasses the $10 million paid to Panama and the $40 million paid to the French when they withdrew from the project. This project, at the time, was the most expensive construction project in the history of the United States. The SS Ancon was the first ship to pass through. This event had a profound impact on global trade by dramatically cutting down on the time and money required to ship goods between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Ships were no longer forced to navigate the dangerous routes around Cape Horn or through the Strait of Magellan, saving them weeks of travel. In the early 21st century, the Panama Canal underwent a massive expansion project to accommodate larger ships called New Panamax vessels. The expansion was finished in 2016 and included the building of new locks next to the old ones, enabling bigger ships to pass through and improving the canal's capacity and efficiency. However, the Panama Canal has been experiencing disruptions in shipping due to a combination of El Niño and climate change, leading to a drought that has caused water levels to drop in Gatun Lake. As a result, Panama Canal authorities have had to impose restrictions on the number of ships passing through, reducing the daily transits to less than half of it. This has caused delays and long queues at nearby ports as ships wait for their turn to pass. If these restrictions continue through 2024, it is estimated that up to 4,000 fewer ships carrying a variety of cargo, from children's toys to solar panels and insulin, will pass through the canal in 2024. The increased frequency of delays and disruptions along shipping routes is likely to become more common in a warmer world. The drought. worsened by the El Niño weather pattern, is projected to continue until May, as stated by Elia Espino de Marata, the canal's chief sustainability officer. 200 million liters of fresh water are poured into the ocean for every ship that navigates through the canal. The Canal Authority now is looking for ways to maximize water reuse, like constructing additional reservoirs and researching cloud seeding to increase rainfall. The primary reason for these efforts is attributed to climate change, according to Espino de Marata. She pointed out that in 2023, the Amazon River experienced extremely low levels, and the Mississippi River had to halt transit due to low water levels. This highlights the global impact of the issue, not just in Panama. The water level, as indicated on the rulers, currently stands at 81.20 feet, she mentions. Ideally, the level should be increased by 5 feet. The shortage of water at the Panama Canal is creating widespread issues. In 2023, the Panama Canal experienced its second driest year on record, she explained. Due to this, we had to reduce the number of ships allowed to pass through in order to maintain the lake level during the summer. These challenges serve as a reminder that while other trade routes face disruptions from political conflicts and piracy, climate change could potentially pose the greatest threat to global trade in the future. With climate extremes on the rise, shipping companies, analysts, and governments are increasingly worried that the Panama Canal crisis might become a regular occurrence, rather than a one-time event. Companies are rushing to ensure their shipments are delivered promptly, prompting them to question the canal's reliability as a key global trade route. This has reignited discussions about finding alternative routes to bypass the canal. To lessen the effects of droughts, the Panama Canal Authority (CP) is making use of water conservation strategies and modifying transit schedules to maximize water efficiency. These strategies might involve decreasing the amount of lockages each day, enforcing draft restrictions on ships, and enhancing water-saving techniques in the canal's functioning. Furthermore, the ACP is committed to investing in infrastructure projects that aim to improve water management and boost the canal's ability to withstand droughts. These initiatives could include building more water reservoirs, utilizing water-saving technologies, and improving watershed management techniques. Even with all the work being done, droughts continue to pose a consistent problem for the Panama Canal. This emphasizes the need for proactive strategies to deal with changing weather patterns. Since global commerce heavily depends on the smooth functioning of the canal, it is crucial for the Panama Canal Authority (CP) and those involved in the shipping sector to prioritize managing the effects of droughts. Recently, there have been worries about the decreasing water levels in Lake Gatun, especially when there's a drought. The area has seen shifts in rainfall and higher temperatures, resulting in less water flowing into the lake and more water evaporating. These issues are causing the lake's water supply to dwindle, sparking concerns about the long-term viability of the canal's functioning. When the water level in Lake Gatun drops to a critical point, it creates major issues for the Panama Canal Authority (CP) and the shipping industry. Reduced water levels limit the depth that ships can navigate through the canal, which in turn restricts the size and carrying capacity of vessels passing through. This can lead to delays, higher expenses, and possible interruptions in international trade routes. To tackle the problem of declining water levels in Lake Gatun, the ACP puts into action a variety of tactics focused on water preservation and control. Water conservation efforts are a top priority for the Panama Canal. The ACP has introduced multiple strategies to decrease water usage throughout the canal system. One approach is to improve lock operations to decrease the amount of water required for each transit. This may involve utilizing smaller locks when possible or taking steps to shorten the time it takes for a ship to pass through. Furthermore, the ACP is dedicated to minimizing leaks from the canal infrastructure by regularly maintaining and upgrading locks, gates, and other elements to prevent water wastage. 2. The Panama Canal Authority is investigating ways to diversify its water sources in case of low rainfall. They may turn to groundwater reserves, capture rainwater, or even use desalination technology where seawater intrusion is not a worry. 3. The Panama Canal Authority (CP) is working with local communities and stakeholders to protect the watersheds that flow into Lake Gatun through watershed management initiatives. These efforts focus on reducing deforestation, preventing soil erosion, and promoting sustainable land use practices. By preserving and restoring natural habitats, the ACP improves water retention and quality. 4. The ACP is committed to improving the canal's infrastructure by investing in projects that will increase water storage capacity, enhance distribution networks, and improve overall efficiency in water usage. This could involve building new water reservoirs or enlarging existing ones to hold more water during times of heavy rainfall. Additionally, The ACP regularly assesses and enhances the canal's water distribution infrastructure to maximize water usage and reduce losses throughout the system. The ACP is working on addressing the issues of declining water levels in Lake Gatun and ensuring the safe and efficient operation of the Panama Canal with comprehensive strategies. These efforts are essential for the sustainability of the canal and to minimize the effects of droughts and climate variability on global shipping and trade. To conserve more water during the rainy season and boost water availability during dry periods, the proposal is to construct a dam on the nearby Indio River and transfer the water to Lake Gatun, the primary reservoir for the canal. This initiative is expected to raise the number of ships passing through by 12 to 15 per day. However, there are obstacles ahead. The project still lacks approval from Congress and will require several years to finish construction. One possible solution is constructing desalination facilities. The low levels of precipitation have raised the salt content in bodies of water, posing a significant challenge as they are a vital source of drinking water. However, this approach comes with a high price tag, and extracting salt from seawater demands a substantial quantity of energy. Another alternative is cloud seeding to stimulate precipitation. Though it may sound like a concept from a science fiction novel, the practice of introducing large salt particles into clouds to enhance rainfall has been in existence since the 1940s. The drought and water scarcity in the Panama Canal are not just local issues confined to the city's vicinity. They are a widespread problem that has significant consequences for the entire country of Panama. The Panama Canal plays a crucial role in Panama's economy, bringing in substantial income from tolls and facilitating the flow of commerce and trade. Any interruptions to the canal's operations caused by drought or water shortages could have serious economic impacts on the country. Water supply Lake Gatun is not only essential for the Panama Canal's operations but also serves as a vital reservoir for providing water to different sectors in the country. Industries, agriculture, and urban communities depend on this freshwater source for various purposes such as drinking, irrigation, and energy generation. The canal's vulnerability to drought and water scarcity directly affects the availability of water supply for these sectors, creating obstacles to sustainable development and economic growth nationwide. Environmental concerns. The well-being of the Panama Canal ecosystem is closely linked to the overall environmental health of the country. Dry spells can worsen environmental pressures like loss of habitats, contamination of water, and decline in biodiversity. These effects not only harm the fragile ecosystem of the canal, but also have wider ecological implications for the biodiversity, natural resources, and ability to withstand climate change in the nation. The lack of water and drought can worsen social disparities and weaknesses, especially in disadvantaged communities and rural regions. Not having enough water for drinking, sanitation, and hygiene can harm public health and worsen poverty and social unrest. To tackle water scarcity in the canal, it's important to create thorough plans that take into account the needs and rights of everyone, guaranteeing fair access to water resources and protecting vulnerable populations' well-being. National security. The strategic importance of the Panama Canal. The canal goes beyond just economic and environmental factors. It also plays a crucial role in national security. Protecting the canal's continuous operation is essential to safeguard Panama's sovereignty and territory. However, the risks of drought and water scarcity could jeopardize the canal's security, making it susceptible to disruptions, sabotage, or other external threats. To put it simply, the lack of water in the Panama Canal is not just a problem in one area, it affects the whole country. Solving this issue will require everyone to work together to manage water, protect the environment, grow the economy, and be fair to everyone. This is vital for the canal and for Panama's future.